Hi Jokers, thanks for watching this episode of Jokers Physiotherapy. This one is an educational session. Now this one is about the sleep bruxism. What it means is sleep time, clenching, grinding, the rhythmic movement of your teeth coming together and grinding sideways, or a really firm and strong clenching where there's no actual gliding of the teeth to each other, top and bottom, but they are all called a sleep bruxism. Sleep and bruxism. Bruxism means grinding, usually at night. And this relates to what we call Trigemino-Cardiac Reflex activity. So what's that? Now, trigemino means a nerve called a trigeminal nerve, which is a branch of what we call a cranial nerve. Now, what's significant about trigeminal nerve is that it actually supplies muscle, as in motor, and sensory, as in pain and other sensation, to the jaw, the ear, and upper teeth, lower teeth, and side of the head, temporal area, in 3 different branches. Now, particularly the bottom one called mandibular nerve, which supplies your jaw joint, muscles of chewing called the muscles of mastication, and the sensation of them, pain and things like that. They have basically a link between the heart through trigemino-cardiac reflex activity in the brain. So now this reflex can be triggered when you have problem breathing in your sleep. So for example, if your nose is blocked, or even if it's not blocked, and if you don't have a cold and your nose is blocked, or you're having problem getting the air through your windpipe because of possibly obstructive sleep apnea or central sleep apnea, which is in the brain controlling the breathing, and the drive to breathe diminishes in your sleep. So it's either especially obstructive sleep apnea, where your windpipe gets compressed and therefore your windpipe narrows and it's very hard to get adequate air and therefore oxygen into your bloodstream through your lungs. What it does in your sleep, this is happening in your sleep especially, if you're not getting enough oxygen through breathing in the air properly or enough volume, it reduces oxygen in your bloods. Usually your bloods are perfused at 95% to 100%, but if it goes below that 95% to 90% and below 90, it can obviously affect your breathing. So the body tries and makes an effort to increase the oxygen level in your bloods by breathing more or heavily, but at the same time that will trigger other what we call microactivity of the brain, and they are increasing heart rate, increasing muscle tone, and increasing the brain activity, which they're all measured. The brain activity is measured through electroencephalogram called EEG. So they pick up these increased activities. And remember, we talked about trigemino-cardiac reflex activity. So when the work of breathing increases and you're working hard, this is all happening in your sleep. So you may not notice, but if it's happening, it reduces your oxygen level in your bloods. The body tries to work harder, more effort to get more air into your body, into your lungs. but your windpipe is narrowed or the brain's reduced the respiratory drive, and that triggers the microactivity in the brain, such as heart rate increase, muscle tone increase, therefore increasing the brain activity. This heart rate increase is called tachycardia, and that is picked up by Trigemino-Cardiac Reflex, and that in turn drives reflex activity which connects with trigeminal nerve, and therefore it reflects back to clenching activity, to which is also related to slowing down the heart rate, slowing down the breathing rate to try and control this situation. So can you see the reflex is reacting against increase in heart rate? The body's wanting to get more air in, so therefore it increases the work of breathing and increases the heart rate because of that. And then reflex on the other side is trying to slow down the breathing, slow down the heart rate, and that reflex system is called the trigeminal-cardiac reflex, and it influences the trigeminal nerve distribution areas, such as your muscles of mastication. So it can be a response to obstruction of the airway, which leads to reduced oxygen level. Therefore, you work harder to try and get the air in, and as a consequence, you get increased heart rate. That is recognized by the brain. Oh man, let's reduce your heart rate, reduce your breathing rate to bring you back down, and that in turn has an influence on muscles of the mastication through trigeminal-cardiac reflex. So the body's reaction, it's almost like allergy to pollens, right? Body recognizes the pollen coming in, and then body says, oh man, we've got to wash this guy out. So run your nose, runny nose, get them all out. It's the reaction. So reaction is causing, in this instance, instead of rhinitis, runny nose, it's the clenching pattern. So, do you recognize some problem in the breathing through your nose, or obstructive sleep apnea, or there is a mild version? It doesn't have to be a very severe type of sleep apnea where you stop breathing. It may be more snoring, or mouth is dry, but it could be very silent. So if you are putting up with sleep bruxism, where you could get imprints in your teeth, in the inside of the inner lining of the cheek, where you get really like teeth marks every morning, and sore and tight jaw, your dentist have told you, oh, you've been grinding, but you don't recognize that that's been a problem. It may be the result of a lack of oxygen, problem breathing into your nose, or obstruction in your windpipe. So, first protocol, talk to the general practitioner, the doctor, and see if you may be up for sleep study or anything like that. You may also have very much a obvious symptom like daytime drowsiness, although you may have had a long hours of sleep. Let me know what you think about this. There are articles and research articles that are showing that there is a strong link between trigeminal cardiac reflex and the sleep bruxism, amongst others like obstructive sleep apnea and things like that. But let me know what you think in the comments below, or if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Or if you like these topics about the jaw, clenching, things like that, please subscribe for future videos. Now, thank you for watching this episode of Joker's Physiotherapy. and happy rehab. Cheers!